Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, there is a lot of confusion when it comes to the topic of errors versus damage. Okay, to start with, an error is something that happens during the print process or during the process of making the bill, whereas damage is something that happens outside of the BEP. Now, another little definition to go by is, what does the BEP consider an error? And there are things that go wrong, but they're not errors. Okay, let me explain. First of all, here is something that would go wrong at the BEP. And if you look, you can see how wide the border is here and how narrow the border is here. So at a glance, a person would think this is an error. If you look on the back, it's wide on this side, narrow on this side. So narrow, narrow, wide, wide. So this is a note that was cut wrong, okay? But according to the BEP, as long as the cut doesn't interfere with the print, it's not an error. Well, what does that actually mean? That means when this happens, they don't pull these notes, which means however often it happens, every single note printed this way makes it into circulation, which means it's not designated an error by the BEP. It's simply a poor quality note. Now, when you talk about getting notes graded, the higher the quality of the note, the higher the grade. In other words, a note like this, if everything was perfect about this note except the cut, it would not grade a 70. Because once you're over 60, once you're over the uncirculated portion, then the aspect of the grade is based on the printing process itself. So a note like this is definitely going to be a lower grade. Now, even though this happened at the BEP, it's not something they pull. If it was something they pulled, then it would be worth a little more because there'd be that fewer of them. If this cut went into the print process, this would have been pulled. That's why if you find a note where the cut does go into the ink, it's worth money because most of those got pulled. Think of it as the error isn't what's wrong with the bill. The error is that it escaped the BEP versus damage to a note. This has green ink all over it. So clearly somebody at the BEP spilt green ink all over this note. But how do I know this is not an error from the BEP? I know it because first and foremost, the ink is transparent. What do I mean by that? Well, you can clearly see through it. Even though all of this portion is green, you can still see the green right through it. And that's an identifier of a water-based ink. And that's not what they used for the ink. The other problem with this is it's also on the back. For the ink to get on both sides of a bill, that can't happen because during the print process, they don't print the individual bill. They print sheets. So there's another bill up here, which means if there's another bill above this one, how would the ink possibly get around to the back of this one? It doesn't happen that way. So yeah, this is clearly damage. This clearly happened at the BEP, but it's not something that they care about, so they didn't bother to pull it. So that is damage versus an error. And like I said, don't think of the error as something wrong with the bill. Think of the error as the BEP not catching it and letting it get out in circulation. All right, let's take a look at what I found this week. Aside from those two notes, what do we got here? Here's a birthday note. It's out of order, but birthday notes are getting hard to find. I just don't find very many of them. This is the 29th of, September 2023. And this one's from 1993, June 26th. And I've got an alternator here, 48434741. Then some trinaries, 07s and 8s. 2s, 7s, and 8s, 0s, 5s, and 7s, 0s, 5s, and 9s, 3s, 5s, and 9s, and quads. Quad 0s with a 5th, quad 1s, quad 3s, quad 4s, quad 6s, quad 7s, and my star notes. 2017 star, always check your stars to see if they're filled. 2013 star, another 2013. Remember 2013, you're looking for the B series to see if they're worth anything. 2013, it's got some writing on it, so it'll probably go away. Oh, and it's torn in half. Yeah, that one's going to go back in circulation. Then I found some older notes. This one's actually a newer note. I was going to check this one to see if I had this, but it's actually in really rough condition, so that one's going to go away. 2003A, 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 also rough. I'm not going to be saving most of these. They're in rough shape, but I just try to pull them out to show how many I find per 1,000 notes. So you can see these 2003s are getting a little bit harder to find. 2003 here, it's got a torn corner, so that's going away. 2001, generally I don't find a whole lot of those. 1999, also a rarer note. Another 99, another 99, another 99, another 99 with writing, so that's definitely going back. 1995, not a web note. 1995, and 1995. So that's what I found this week. What did I bring out? Well, I saw this and I was able to get it for a good price, and I figured I would pick it up. Probably going to be an auction item soon. Check it out. I found another gold certificate. This is a $10 gold certificate. If you look here, it's from the series of 1922 gold certificate. Now, I always call this the Charlie Brown note. Maybe it's just because my eyes are bad, but I know he's got hair there. But to me, I just look and see this big old bald, big old head, and that's Michael Hillegas. And you can see here he is the first. See how bad my eyes are? You guys can read that crystal clear, can't you? First treasurer of the United States. Yep. All right, now with these notes, there are a couple neat things. First of all, it's a gold certificate. $10 in gold coin. We did have $10 gold coins back then. They were roughly half an ounce of gold. You can see the bright gold or bright yellow, however you want to put it, for the serial number, for the Roman numeral, and of course for the seal. And aside from that, you also get the goldfish orange back. Now this one here, you can see has got a pretty hefty crease and it's got some dirt, but you can still see enough of that goldfish orange to make this a very cool note. These are one of the more popular notes because, as far as gold certificates go, they are fairly affordable. One of the things about this note, it has a teller stamp. Okay, so just I know it doesn't seem like a big deal when you look at this, but you have to remember that this is our current money. Imagine a strap of these. I mean, that's just, of course it happened, but you'd never think of them that way. So imagine a strap of these, and of course the teller would put the strap on there, and then the teller stamped it and missed. And if you look at that teller stamp, it says 1926. Now, of course, that has to be legit because the teller stamp from 1926, the note was from 1922, and these were all recalled by 1933. So just to have a teller stamp from 1926 on this note, I know technically it hurts the grade, it hurts the value, but does it really? Because how many notes are going to have a teller stamp on it? I'm not saying it increases the value at all. I'm certainly saying it's a teller stamp, but I think it's something that makes the note interesting. Let's take a look at the book and see what the book has to say. I never even slid these out of the way, did I? Okay. So here is the gold certificate of the 4th and later issues. You can see right there. That's how it's supposed to look on the back. This one's a little bit rougher. If I remember, this one is Spielman and White. Let's double check. Spielman and White. Sure is. And if we look down here, Spielman and White have all kinds of stuff. I checked, it is not a mule. So this one is 1173. And just to check here, 1173A says the gold with the small serial numbers. And I believe these are the large serial numbers that are on there. I'm not 100%, but the values themselves are right about the same. You're talking here, 135 in grade 8. And here you're talking 125 in grade 8. But once you get to grade 12, you're talking 175 for both. You're talking 325 and a grade 20. I don't think this is a grade 20. I'm not trying to convince anybody of that at all. But is it an 8? I think it's a little better than an 8. I think it's in that 10 or 12 range. And if that's the case, then you're talking, like I said, even in this book, you're talking 175. But the thing is, these are actually getting tougher to find, and people aren't letting them go for that price anymore. So getting one of these, if you don't have one, the sooner the better is probably the way to go. This one does have a little bit of a stain right here as well. But still, one of the cooler and one of the cooler large size gold certificates that you're going to find. And certainly one of the most affordable. All right, if you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.